Hello everyone, how are you and welcome back to my channel. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. This is my own custom Create a Rainbow High doll. And if you were a fan of Bratz, in 2015 they came out with a line of Bratz, and I think most people were not a fan, but then they had this line called Create a Bratz, and you could create your own Bratz by choosing their eye color, their hair color. Not sure if you can choose their makeup, but you could also choose a few outfits. So here I have followed this concept and I have created my own Rainbow High doll with quite natural hair color. As you can see, she has got some blonde highlights in between, and this is quite pretty because you don't actually see the blonde unless you push the hair apart. You can see a slight bit of it, and I want to show you how I've actually created this custom doll by myself, and I hope you enjoy the process. I know my channel is usually about harvesting doll hair and not actually buying new doll hair, but this time I decided to get some hair from Nut, and my friend actually went to the Philippines and he got some hair for me because the hair isn't that expensive, but the shipping is very expensive. So here I've also got a head. This is Minnie Choi's head and it's from AliExpress, and I'm gonna choose a pair of eyes for her. And I've got Margot's body. I'm going to make a complete custom doll, something that looks quite natural looking. So I hope you like it. So I decided to choose the green eyes that I'm gonna give her, and first what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some extremely hot boiling water and pour this into a bowl, and then I will put her head in a plastic bag and dip it in the hot water. So now that her head has been in the hot water bath for quite a while, I hope it is soft enough for me to put her eyes in, because her head is quite hard compared to other doll heads. Let's see, it's very squishy now. Oh, I got it in, but it is crooked, slightly crooked, so I guess I gotta push it out again, and her head is getting hard so quickly. Oh look, it popped itself into position. How nice. Almost. Okay, this is just so difficult. Got to put her head in the hot boiling water again. Okay, this is a bit difficult, so it is a little bit crooked, so I'm gonna put it in the hot water so I can readjust it. So after doing the hot dip, I'm going to try her other eye, but I hope it works. So I used water that was much hotter, and her head really softened so much, and it was so much easier to put the eyes in, and I think she looks really extremely stunning with green eyes. I can't wait to start rerooting her. I would like my doll's hair to be about this length, and yes, this is Cheryl Maya with her hair straightened out with a middle part and with some platinum highlights, but I actually want her to have layers like that and this hair. So what I have done is I have taken a ruler, and I did this off camera, and I measured her hair from the bottom to the end, which is like, I basically just took a strand of her lowest hair and I measured it. It's 21.5 centimeters, and I'm gonna do 22 centimeter long hair. So I have chosen to reroot with this very lovely auburn color, and what I'm going to do first is I will comb out the hair just to remove any tangles, and then I will measure. Since I measured 21.5, I'm gonna give her 22.5 because I am going to glue the ends of the hair. And then I take a cable tie and I slip it under the hair and I stop at the 22.5 mark. That's where I'm going to tie it up. As tight as I possibly can. 22.5, yes. Okay, that's around, yep. Just giving it a little extra allowance. It won't kill to have a little bit more hair, but it is difficult if you reroot too short. So this is the mark where I'm going to cut off the hair, and I'm going to use this amount of hair for reroot. This is the length. It doesn't feel very long, but it is actually quite long. So that's what I'm going to work with. So with that, I'm going to use a backing from the Rainbow High box. Yeah, I like to keep the backings, but this one was a bit damaged, so I'm just going to use it for glue. And then I'm going to use a tiny pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut the hair. Now I won't use all the hair from here, but I will just take a certain section because I don't want to work with so much at once. It may get messy, but I'm just going to take this amount of hair, and then I'm going to leave this to work on later. And then I'm going to use my fabric glue, and I'm going to dip the ends of the hair into the glue. So I just dip the hair into the glue, or maybe pour out some glue on it. Yep, there it is. Ooh, what a mess. Okay, so I'm going to spread this on the hair, on the ends of her hair, on both sides. And what I'm going to do now is I massage it into the ends. Oh, was I doing that all off camera? Sorry. I'm going to massage it into the ends of her hair, or the hair. It's not even her hair yet. So just massage it in and make sure that every bit of the hair gets it. Now that it has been drying for a few minutes, all I do is, before it's completely dry, I just take apart the strands of hair and make them into small little strands of hair. Like this, like little hair extension kind of thing, with a bit of glue at the ends, just that hard end, and then the rest of it is just the soft hair. So you have to make sure that the glue is massaged in very thoroughly so that it's all over the hair. If not, you may end up having loose hair strands all over the place, and sometimes the hair will shed after you have done your whole reroot. So this is going to be a quick process, and just start preparing all the hair bit by bit. So as you can see, I have still quite a little bit left to separate, but I have separated quite many strands of extensions, and I'm going to use all this for the reroot in a while, once I finish doing this. And then if I need more hair, I go back and cut out more hair and do the same process until I've got enough for the whole doll. But I'm going to just take it in parts and do some first and reroot some into the hair before I prepare more strands. It gives me some form of variety. So I have separated everything into little extension strands like that. And of course, this is not everything that is needed for the entire reroot, but I will repeat this process until I have got the whole head filled up with hair. And I guess this is how it will look like. So here I'm going to use a cloth just to make sure that I cushion her face from any kind of scratches against the table. and then I'm going to start rerooting her. The good thing about this is that she has no hair. I don't have to remove anything. I just instantly start rerooting. I'm gonna try this from the back. All you need is this stick. Push it in. Okay, slowly widen it now. Yep, her head is a little bit hard, but that's fine, completely fine, because this is very sharp also. And then I take one extension piece of hair, and then I pull it out and instantly slot in the glue section of the hair. Now don't instantly check to see if it's tight or anything, because obviously what's gonna happen is that the hole is gonna shrink, and then you're going to have a nice tight piece of hair inserted in there. And that should be it. This is called an awl, and it's used for poking holes into leather goods. So it is actually quite useful. I have seen an ice pick and it looks like this, but it is way thicker. So I don't think that will be very good. And of course, there you have a secure piece of hair attached into her, and it is going, and I'm going to have to finish her whole head. So I just pick a hole beside this, very close but not so close, and then I take another strand of hair. Okay, I wait for that to widen a little bit while I pick out the strand of hair, and then I remove that and instantly slot in the glue. That's it. So it will be actually quite a quick process to complete this, and yeah, I'm going to do this in time lapse, and then hopefully you will be able to try to do this as well. So as you can see, I have filled up this section of hair extremely quickly, and then of course I will fill up the entire hairline and then start filling up inside. This amount took me around 10 minutes. Of course, there is the preparation of the extensions, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. So actually rooting it in took really 10 minutes, and it was not very difficult to do. It was quite a painless process. It doesn't involve much forcing. So because it looks like her head is very hard, but you see this is such a sharp needle, and when you poke it in, I don't just jab the whole thing in. I do it like really, you know, gradually, very close to that next hole. However, not so close that it will cause the scalp to split. Just keep checking on the holes. If they merge, let it merge, and you know, don't do the next one so near. You don't have to rush this process. Obviously, we want to see how the head is done really quickly, but we are not machines. So what I do is I leave it a while to actually kind of let it widen, which didn't require much force, and then I take one, little bit of hair. And the only part you have to do quickly is this part where you pull it out and instantly slot in the hair, because that hole will close very, very quickly. So you don't want it to close and then, the hair will not be able to go in, obviously. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a few more plugs, and then I would like to add some highlights to her as well. However, I would like these highlights not to be around her hairline. I would like this whole entire hairline to be brown, or what do you call this? Auburn, like orange, but not really poppy kind of orange, more like yeah, I guess the color is auburn or copper. Yeah, this is my favorite hair color of all. I really think it is very pretty whenever I see someone has this color. I really think it looks very nice, but I'm going to be adding the highlights inside together with more of this, so you will not see like stripy highlights when you pull her hair back. You will just see like kind of an ombre effect. Yeah. Oh, I missed the hole. Yes, so there it is. And actually I'm taking a longer time, maybe because I'm talking, and when I talk I really do use my hands a lot, which is very funny. So just a word of caution, eventually you're gonna get to the top of her head. When you push down that metal pin right down into the top like that, you want to be very careful not to hold it like this and push it down, because if by some genius stroke of luck it comes through this hole and it pokes into your hand, it's going to be a very quick force. So I always put it downwards, and you know, it's like chopping in the kitchen. Always keep your fingers pointed away from the knife. Yes, I am one to talk. I will not. I've cut my hands so many times, and therefore I will not cook in the kitchen anymore. I will not cut. So there again, I just push in another little extension strand of hair, and this process, if I was not talking, would be a very quick process, because you see, if the hair is all prepared, it will actually be very quick. So when I do this, I would actually have another batch of hair with its glue kind of drying, so that once I have finished all this, I will get on to separating more hair, and then once I separate more hair, I will you know, I will start gluing more hair again. And so there is a variation. You glue, you separate, you glue again while and let the glue dry, and then you root. So yes, as you can see, this hairline is almost finished in one sitting. Yeah, prior to this, when I was using a tagging gun, or I've tried the Rerooting tool, you know, that needle always breaks. So especially on a head as hard as this, but we are acting with how the vinyl here acts. It likes to expand and contract. So you know, I expand, I poke a hole, I let it expand, and then you push the hair in and you let it contract. That is quite simple. Yeah, I don't know why I never thought of this process earlier, but I did it in a few other videos and it was really quick. Of course, if the doll has already got holes in her head, that will be much easier. You don't even have to form a hole. And now a part of the process that makes this difficult is I actually have to find where I want to poke the hole on this head. But the good thing is I did not have to rip out her hair. I did not have to like dig in, and I did not have to remove all the hair from inside. That's the best part for this. So that's why I chose to just buy a head from AliExpress. Yeah. So I'm just gonna be finishing this up. And then, oh, by the time I have given all my little disclaimers and everything, I have actually reached the front of her head. Hooray! That was very quick. And yes, my hands used to ache, my neck used to ache, my jaw used to ache, everywhere used to be in pain while rerooting. And I was like, I swore I will never reroot again. But I accidentally discovered this method, because what I would have done previously is I would still glue it. I would take that glue strand and I would tie a knot and I would push it into a tagging gun, and then, you know, put the tagging gun in. I think I have another video and you can compare how long it takes to use the tagging gun. Can you imagine? I load it and then I have to remove this hole that I widened also and push it in, and the tagging gun could cause the scalp to split. So in this way I have not got any scalp split at all. So there she is. and I can finish the entire thing. And I think she will look extremely pretty in this hair color. So yep, just do this till the whole thing is done. So right now I'm going to do the same with another color. They call this mocha, but I don't think this is mocha. I don't know. Mocha is like, to me, it's like dark brown. But anyway, it's exactly the color I want. It turned out even better than the pictures. And this is going to be her highlight color, but her highlights are only going to come through from the inside. So how will I do this? I will take my ruler again. And its glue is kind of drying, so when it is almost dry, that's when I will separate it. And then of course right now I will glue the blonde highlights. This is, oh gosh, I did this whole thing out of camera again. I will glue the blonde highlights with some fabric glue and make sure to rub it all in so that every single strand has it, and hold it. You don't have to hold it with force really tightly, but just hold it so that the hair doesn't slip out of place. Once you've got most of the glue on the hair, I think that's fine. Just lay it down to dry. And by that time, you should be almost ready to start separating this hair. And then, you know, you can continue the rooting process. So as you can see right now, I have prepared some blonde strands of hair and more auburn strands of hair. Of course, I will finish the hairline, but just for the sake of showing you how to do the highlights, I'm going to show it to you right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add more blonde to the bottom, and as I slowly reach to the top of her head, I mean even around the hairline, I'm going to add more blonde, but as I slowly reach to the top of her head, I am going to have less blonde. And then, you know, you will see that she kind of will have an ombre effect, I guess. Still like highlights, it will not be like, you know, auburn and then blonde, you know, but it will have highlights coming out of nowhere. And when you pull back her hair, the highlights are not so defined. So what I'm gonna do again is I'm going to widen a hole. Yes, it looks like it is difficult, but as long as you keep moving back and forth and it will go in, it's not that difficult. And then I will take a strand of blonde hair this time and slot it in. That's it. So you can see that there is some form of highlight. I'm probably going to do like, let me see, maybe 5 highlights or 6, and then 1 brown or 1 auburn. So 5 light and 1 dark. So as you can see here, I have got 5 blonde streaks, and then I start with 1 dark streak, and then again I will have another row of 5 blonde streaks and 1, you know, and as I go up, the blonde will get less. And then you would be wondering how come, because you know it isn't on the hairline. Yes, it will not be that obvious. You see this when it lays down like that, you will not really see it, but once you start twirling the hair around, you can see that at the end you will have blondes, little bits of blondes at the end. So you know what, I hope this turns out to be a very pretty color, and I'm gonna continue doing this on time lapse. finished doing this amount of hair, which is the entire hairline plus one more row of hair, almost one more row, yes, one more row actually, and I did that in about 3 hours. I would say this is very quick for a reroot, just poking holes and slotting it in. And as you can see, you can barely see the blonde highlights because the whole hairline is auburn. And then as it goes lower, you can see more and more highlights, and they are still very defined because I didn't want like a blended hair look. I still want definition in the highlights. If not, I would have blended all the hair together. But yes, this is how she is going to look like, and I can't wait to finish the entire head. So after a few hours of rooting, she is finally done with that auburn hair and some highlights at the end. Actually, the highlights are all hidden inside, and I have to now give her a part line, which is quite simple. I just have used a color pencil to draw an off-center line, and then I have prepared some strands of hair that this time is much thicker, and I'll show you how the part line works. So as usual, I put some glue on the ends of the hair and wait for it to dry. And once it is dry, I can start preparing much thicker strands of hair like this. These are at least 3 times the amount of hair I have used in each plug of hair. And again, a disclaimer, you don't have to use exactly the same amount of hair for each plug. Sometimes each plug can be thicker, sometimes it's thinner. It's really, you know, an estimation. I cannot say you have 30 strands of hair per plug. That will be crazy with such a tedious process already. Of course, you know, this is a little bit easier because of the method I'm using now. So using this much thicker extension strand, I poke another hole in her head where I would like the hairline to be. So I poke it here. Okay, I try to slowly widen that hole. And then I take the thick strand and push it in. And instantly I will again poke that hole. Leave it to widen, you know, don't have to widen it so much. Take another strand and poke it into the same hole. Just push it in quickly before it tightens. Then I split both strands down the middle. So you can actually see that what has happened is I've kind of got a part line here already. However, because this part line still has a little gap towards the front, I'm gonna poke it in again. I can make it a little bit wider. Right now I take one more thick strand. Where's that one thick strand? And I'm gonna take this much thicker extension strand and push it into that hole once more. So 3 thick strands stuffed into the hole. And for this one, I kind of split it down the middle. Just split it down the middle and one on each side. And you will have a very tight part line after this is done. So as you can see, this is the part line. And once you do it all the way down, you will eventually have quite a tight part line. I can put more in the front. I would rather have the holes slightly spaced out a bit more compared to having the holes. Sorry, I'm going to cut this away. So I would rather have the holes slightly spaced out a bit more and have more hair to cover the area rather than have the holes too close and let the scalp split. So then I poke this right into the hole here. Because there already is hair in this hole, you have to make sure it really is widened. it's not a difficult task, but it's not a very simple task because you just have to be very careful as well. So you put it in and then split it down the middle. And you can see with that all pushed into the same hole and split down the middle, we have a very tight looking part line which does not need to be attached, like, you know, crisscrossed to make that effect. So I'm gonna do this all the way down now. So I'm going to finish the rest off camera, but you can kind of get the idea whereby you can see the hair is all stuffed into the same hole, and I'm going to continue that all the way to the back, and you know, a tiny little row to cover any other hair. And as you can see, once the auburn is thick enough, you will not see much of the highlights unless the hair moves, so it kind of covers most of the highlights. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Yep, I'm gonna finish the process off camera, and I hope that you will like it. Now that she's complete, I have combed her hair down very tight, and I have also taped her eyelashes so that I will protect them from the heat, and I'm going to boil wash her. So I'm pouring the hot water into a bowl, and I've just boiled it because I am going to dip her head in it. And I'm just going to try and dip the hair in it so that I don't get the eyes wet. Just for a bit, like give her a hot bath. Of course the eyes will get slightly wet, but I try not to make it so wet, and that's about it. Kind of get the hair set in that position in hot water so that the part line will set and the rest of the hair will lay very flat. Yep. Kind of leave her there for a while, and of course the rubber band will leave a little kink, but I will iron that out because this hair can withstand very high heat. And so once the boil wash process is done, I will style her hair and I will show her to you. So if you stuck around all this while, I want to thank you so much for your kind support, and I hope you like her, and I hope you found this rerooting process very easy. There she has some blonde highlights already showing, but they don't show right at the scalp because you can see it is all the auburn color and very thickly rooted down there, and you can see her highlights do peek out every once in a while. I can't wait to curl her hair actually, and if you want to see a tutorial of how I straighten her hair, how I style her hair, maybe you can let me know because it was kind of like messy when it came out. And also I just am very happy with how the highlights just turned out at the ends of her hair. So yeah, you see all her hair. It's very pretty, and you can only, like, when you shake her hair, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see some highlights coming out, and then you can't see it at all. So there, I really love this color, and I'm going to dress her in some different outfits and hopefully show her to you. Yeah. So these shoes are actually a prototype shoes of Skylar, and I think it wasn't colored or anything. I think they got it from the factory. I just bought it off somebody secondhand, and these are Barbie pants that is difficult to fit on, but once you do, it is a perfect fit. This pink leather jacket is from Project MC Square. I think it is from the doll that has blonde and red hair at the bottom. The blonde doll, I'm not so sure which one. And of course this is just a plain white rainbow high top. These cute little specs are actually her adorable specs, so I'm gonna change her to something else now, and then let me know if you like this look. So in this look, I've given her Margot's shoes, some tiger stripe pants. I think this is an OMG doll pants, and she's got the top of Carmen Major, and I think that this really suits her very well. She looks great, she looks chic, and I thought that these pants were the same color as her hair, and I thought it was just not going to match very nicely, but I really do love it. And down here her highlights do show a little bit. I get very happy when her highlights show, because it's like, I do wonder if it was a mistake to just put the highlights inside and not around her hairline, but I'm really loving the look, and I think when I curl her hair, it will really show. You will see all the highlights coming out everywhere, so you know, I hope so. So let me know what you think of her in this outfit. If I should add on anything, let me know in the comment section. Also, yeah, let me know if you want to see a tutorial of me curling her hair. Yeah. And here she is in Ainsley shoes and OMG tights, and this is Darling Charming's outfit. I was just like, found myself whispering to myself, please fit, please fit. It's kind of short, but it looks cute on her. She looks like she's going for some kind of a costume ball, and I do like her in this outfit, but you know, I don't think my matching of clothes is really that great. So let me know if I can dress her in something else. Once again, if you have stayed all the way till the finishing of my fashion show, I hope you please subscribe, and I hope you like the video. Give the video a like, a thumbs up. Oh, I love how the highlights do turn out. And you know, let me know what else I should reroot in future, or what creation you would like to see. You know, thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you think of this doll. I really am very happy with her. I'm just not so much a fan of that, you know, this sharper rainbow high eyes. I prefer the rounder eyes, but it's okay because I don't have Minnie Choi, and I think you know, her eyebrows match her hair. I'm very happy with that. So thank you so much for sticking around. Please support and share this video with your friends if they ever want to reroot partially or even a whole head. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video, and have a happy new year.